I did pull you some oracle cards. We're not going to go over
Okay.
them in the session, but I will send you guidebook descriptions and pictures of them, and then that'll be a deeper level of messaging. And then I asked each one of your chakras what kind of crystals would help with your healing and growth, and I built you a crystal grid. So I'll send you a picture of that as well. There's nothing you need to do with it necessarily, it's doing its own healing. However, if you want additional insights, downloads, or an energy boost, you can look at the picture in the future and it will do that for you. And then I will get the replay to you today or tomorrow when it gets some processing. Does that sound okay?
Sounds great.
Perfect. Okay. So the notes
Thanks.
that you, oh, you're welcome. The notes that you left me here was seeing if we have any energy blocks, working through anger and not exactly sure where that's coming from, migraines, when you were younger, and strengthening our psychic abilities. Is that correct?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. So why don't you tell me a little bit about what's currently happening, where we're trying to get to, what our goals are?
Okay.
Either just in life or your spiritual gifts or whatever comes to mind.
Okay. Well, I currently do Reiki.
Yes.
That's like my thing.
What kind of
And
Reiki are you a practitioner of?
I'm a Usui master, Reiki master.
Nice.
And I love it. And I've been doing it for about 4 years. And I'm just trying to, I guess, use my psychic abilities in the best way I possibly can.
Hmm.
So I'm trying to, essentially, I want to make this into like my own business and be able to work for myself, make my own hours, and help people
Yes.
using Reiki.
We love that. Okay. How is it going so far with the business aspects?
Um, I feel like um, I'm making some momentum, but I'm like a I want it now person.
Yeah.
So um, I feel like I should be further along than I am, but I'm just accepting the help from the universe and the pace I'm at is where I'm supposed to be, but I'd like to kind of be further than I am. Yes.
Okay. Well, congratulations on continuing.
Thanks.
Okay. Yes. So there's some real strength and fortitude within that, right? Because at the beginning stages, some days is more difficult than others to keep going.
Right.
Okay. Because being a business owner, you wear a lot of hats. And you have to teach
Yes.
yourself a lot of skills. And being an energy healer is completely different than being an entrepreneur. And that a lot of people don't talk about that. And so I commend you for sticking to it.
Thanks.
Yes. Where do you feel that you could use the most support in your business? Where are we seeing some impediments or some things that we could work on? Because maybe I could give you some advice on that as well.
Um, so the clients that I do have, I feel like get something out of what I'm doing,
Mhm.
but I need a way to just gain a little more client base. Um, I think that's my biggest problem.
Okay.
Um, so,
We want to increase the number of clients that we have.
yes. And, just I want to create a good reputation for myself and, have it spread word of mouth and, um, you know, do nice work for people and let it reflect back. And, because I really enjoy it. So I'd like to see it expand.
Okay. What are you doing to market right now?
So I've done some free Reiki just to kind of get my name out there. I have a friend who does shadow work classes, so I've volunteered. I just tried doing a group. Um, I've been teaching, so I've been doing
Nice.
try to get a group teaching like at a lower rate to get more people interested. Um, or make it more accessible, I guess. I had one person reach out that was interested and they didn't commit, so I had to cancel the
Okay.
class. Um, but I've been teaching as of like about a year ago. I really like to teach. And so I just kind of put myself out there on social media. I do local, I make things, I make like candles and stuff. So I do local events. So I always promote myself at the events. Um, Sometimes I do Reiki sessions at events. Like
Mm-hmm.
I offer like, shortened Reiki sessions and in hopes that, the person will come back or be interested at a different time. Um, so I've gotten clients that way, but just
Mm-hmm.
not enough to like quit my job and do
Yes.
it like full time, which is
Okay.
what I'd like to do.
Are you doing in-person sessions only, or are you also doing remote sessions?
I can do both, but
Okay.
I've only done probably 4 or 5 remote sessions.
Do you prefer one over the other?
Honestly, the remote sessions are more intense for me, which I thought it would be the other way around.
Yes.
I don't know if it's
Yes.
because I'm not worried about them in front of
Yeah,
me.
everything in the environment around you and the variables,
Right,
everything. Yeah.
right.
Okay.
So honestly, I don't mind either way.
Yes. Okay. And that was the reason I asked that too is, not everybody lives in a populous place where Reiki and energy work and things are always super widespread. So oftentimes remote work will give us a further reach.
Right.
Yes. Okay. So we are confident in giving remote sessions.
Yes.
Okay. And it sounds like, because you're like, oh, those are even more powerful. Okay. So are we making content where you are giving Reiki? Or are we also making content where we are talking about what Reiki can help you with?
Um, I haven't given Reiki on like a video or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've never done that. I have posted like flyers or like wordage, but I haven't done like a video of myself explaining what it is.
Okay. When okay, let's go through your higher self sign limit. Let's go through your processes. Okay, so I can figure out exactly what it is that you're wanting to um, do with Reiki because there's so many different things, as you know, right? So what exactly are you wanting to help people out of with your Reiki sessions? Are you
Um,
are you doing talk therapy with them as well, or is it all more on the quantum side of energy healing?
I mean, I really feel into people's energy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really not talking to them. I mean, I do vocalize like if anything comes up and you need to, don't hesitate, but I really enjoy stepping into their field and feeling like, if I could feel pain in their leg or um I don't know, like a sadness that comes up.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy tapping into healing their pain, I guess.
Yeah. What kind of pain alleviation do you like helping people with? Is it physical, spiritual, emotional, mental?
I mean, all of the above.
Let me see what your higher self is saying here. Hold on. I'm gonna light this incense really quick if you don't mind.
No problem.
Okay. Okay. So, what exactly would you want your intent to be with somebody walking away from one of your Reiki sessions?
I want them to feel better. I
Mhm.
want, if they come to me and say, I have back pain, you know, like the people that I love are the ones that like are skeptics and they're like, this isn't going to help me, or I don't, and then I help them. And then they're like, wow, I slept good tonight for the first time and, forever or whatever. Um, yeah, I mean, I want to help. people, I want them to feel better when they leave the table, essentially. Or if I did a remote session, I want them to be like, wow, I feel lighter. I feel more positive. I feel my head, is clearer, or my heart's more open, or, um, you know, life just got a little easier to deal with after my session. I guess I want to make people feel lighter in all aspects.
I love that. Yeah, those what you just described are specific tangible results to speak about in content creation when you're talking about what Reiki can help with, because that's what people are really wanting. What specifically is this type of energy healing going to help me with? Like XYZ result. And that's going to be dependent upon, what audience that you're working with as well. But they want to hear, I'm going to be able to walk away from this with this here. That is what pulls people in because they're like, oh, I can see myself imagined in this reality if I go through this experience.
Mm.
So that's what your higher self was asking. What kind of content are we making to prep and prime for that? Because one of your abilities is going to be coming online, which goes really deep into people's fields, and we're going to talk about it in a minute. And that is a result that you're going to be able to talk about with people, but we have to be okay with verbalizing and communicating this is what you're going to get out of this session. So how is that going right now?
Um, I I'm doing better.
Good. Okay. That takes
Um,
practice too. It takes
yeah,
practice. Okay.
I've always been more of a shy person.
Hmm.
So I've, since I've became a mother, I've kind of come out of my shell a little more each
Hmm.
year, I feel like.
Yeah, you got two
And
kids.
yes, and putting myself out there to run my own business, or, it's been a challenge, but um, I don't mind the challenge, but
Mhm.
um, yeah, I'm trying to build on my confidence in order to put myself out there.
Okay, great. Let's see. There's something else you wanted me to say here. Okay. One of the things that I heard you say was that we like talking to skeptics and helping them see how this is going to be beneficial for them. Why do you think that those are the persons that you are drawn to? Not that there's anything wrong with that necessarily, but we're going to talk about not necessarily blockages, but some things in your field that we're going to clear today. And
Okay.
that might be one of the reasons that we're drawn to people like that. So, why do you think that might be?
Honestly, I don't know why, but
Okay.
I feel like 90% of the people that I talk to either are super religious and they're
Mhm.
against any form. They think it's voodoo or whatever. They don't think
Right.
it's help, you know.
But I'm just
So
sending you
I
love. Okay.
so I always kind of have it in the back of my mind. Like I know what I'm capable of and I've
Mhm.
seen results of what I'm capable of, but I always have it in the back of my mind like, is this going to work? Is this going to help this person?
Mhm.
Am I going to prove them wrong? Am I, you know, I feel like a lot of people that I meet that I'm like, oh, I'm a Reiki healer. And they're either like, what is that? Or, oh, that doesn't work for me. Or, um, so if I end up working on someone that is like that and they're like, wow, that really helped me, or, I've slept so good tonight. Like it makes me feel good because I'm like,
Mhm.
see, I told you
Yes.
it's going to help.
Do you think, and I totally understand that because that's a beautiful experience you can have with somebody. I'm like, see, it's not scary. Okay, it's
Right.
helpful. However, if that is the majority of sessions that we're experiencing or people that we are communicating with, I can see how that could be very exhausting
Yeah.
because we're already going in having to work through a lot of people's defense mechanisms.
Right.
And that takes work, okay, to do that.
Yeah.
I also think that you are incredibly talented and gifted and are not able to wield your magic at its full extent And that's probably like very frustrating. And not be able to see your gifts being reflected back to you and what you're able to do. Because if you were able to talk to people that were very open and receptive, you could really blow your own mind with what you're able to do. What comes up when I say that?
Um, I I don't know. I feel like as the years have gone by, I have had experiences that did blow me away, and
Hmm.
I was like, wow, I I knew I was capable of that. Or um I have people that I've worked on that are more open, and I do get a stronger I get stronger visions, or I get and it's that really excites me. Like being able to connect with someone's energy on that level.
Hmm.
So, if I work on someone that is really open to the healing and there's a really powerful session, I'm like, wow, like I want to do this every day.
Yes.
Um, and, not every session is like that, but I look forward to
Yes.
every session because of it.
Yes. I'm really chasing that. Like, I want one of these, okay?
Right.
Because you get upgrades and activations too when you're around somebody that's open like that,
Mm,
because you can see so much more.
right.
Yes. The reason that I brought up you working on communicating the results that you can get somebody, and that really needs to be a focus of our practice and the skills that we're gleaning, is
Hmm.
because in the future, you are going to be helping people with some vastly expansatory work, like multidimensional, helping them reawaken to these remembrances within self through the lens of Reiki, if that's what you want to do. But it's going to require a lot more conversating
Okay.
because their human needs conversation. Their higher awareness doesn't. They know what's going on, okay, in the quantum fields. But just like I'm doing with you, because you need this, you're going to need to do this with other people in the future. And maybe not the totality of like, hey, we're going to be talking for an hour or an hour and a half, but there are going to be things that you need to relay to their human psyche to help unlock certain things in their Akasha fields for them.
Okay.
Okay. And if you continue to work on your communication and content, it's going to draw people in that are wanting that level of Reiki that you're able to offer, but you have to let them know that you can do it.
Okay.
Okay, what comes up when I say that?
Um,
I'm going to tell you
I,
what that is in a minute when we get through all this other stuff.
oh,
Okay.
I, it's just very exciting. I feel like the future is very exciting. And I've been, like I said, I've been building on my confidence over the past few years. I've come a long way, but I know that I have a lot more to go to just stand behind who I am and feel confident in what I'm capable of. And I am not like, I know that I'm not a small talk person. I'm a deep level in, I enjoy the deep conversation. I'm not like a at a party. I'm very
Mm-hmm.
anxious. I don't like social small talk with people I don't know. So I know that it makes sense that I need to work on more communication skills.
One of the things that your higher self wants me to say to you is we need to say I am an excellent communicator, because it's not that you're a bad communicator. It's you're around people that are not communicating in the ways that you communicate. If you
Okay.
are around people that are on your wavelength and speak your language, you're excellent at that. It's just you have not had the most representors of those experiences, so it makes you think that you're not a good communicator.
Okay.
But you really are. We just need to be in the right places and spaces. But we need to claim that within of like, oh no, I'm a great communicator. I'm working on finding my people. I'm a good communicator. Because if we continue to run the paradigm of, oh, this is something I'm not good at and I need to continue to work on, right? You've already got those skill sets within you. We just need to be in different places. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. What comes up when I say that? I say you're
Uh,
doing fine communicating with me. Okay.
um, I don't know. I feel like I the people that I do jive with, they're very few and far between. I have a good handful of people that I um do well with, but yeah, it's like the rest of the world, it's like uh, sometimes draining, you know.
Yeah, I do. That won't be your reality forever, though. I did not resonate with 99% of the population, and that was all that I saw. Now,
Yeah,
I only talk to neurodivergent people that are witchy and woo-woo. That is my whole entire reality experience. So that'll be for you too.
awesome.
Okay. But we're gonna get there. Okay. One of the ways that you get there, though, is letting go of that narrative of I'm not a good communicator because what we focus on is what we get more of. I'm not a good
Right,
communicator. Okay, well, now here's all these experiences with people I don't want to be talking to.
right.
Validate that narrative. No, I'm a great communicator with people that are open-minded
Hmm.
and that take care of themselves and are focused on their growth and healing.
Hmm.
Now we're focused on something positive, and the universe is going to start bringing us more people that are like that. Does that make sense?
It does. Perfect.
Perfect. Okay. Oh, we said perfect at the same time. Okay. Okay. So we're going to go through some of the energetics of the reasoning that we're pulling in these people so that we
Okay.
can shift that. Okay. And I'm not
Okay.
saying that it's not beneficial to help people that are skeptics because that can be really fulfilling, but it can also be draining if that's all that we're experiencing.
Right.
Okay. So when I went into your energy field, and I have a lot of notes down here, so if you see me looking down, I'm reading everything. Okay. So when I went to your energy field, your higher self said, we have felt miscommunication almost our entire lives from other people.
Yeah.
We have felt misunderstood. And I said,
Hmm.
okay, got it.
Hmm.
So when I was talking to your energy body, your astral body, she was standing in the center of this room, and there was all of these almost like window panes that were going around you and kind of like sliding into your peripheral. And I said, girl, you're using a lot of physical and mental energy getting those panes in front of you. Okay, so the window panes are filters, filters of self. I said, oh, you're using a lot of glamour magic, is what you're doing. And what I mean by glamour magic is each of those filters is representative of a different person that you are talking to. Okay, not a specific person, but a general archetype of a person or where their mindset is. For example, people, skeptics will be one, okay, or people that are religious. So I asked you, why are you doing that? And you said, I need to meet them where they're at. So it is almost a shield for who you actually are and what you're capable of doing because you're having to filter yourself down so that you do not blind them with your essence. Okay. And what did up here? When you could ask. Okay. I said, do you need to be asking, how do I meet them on the level that they're at? Or could you be asking instead, how can I get them to meet how could I get them to meet me on the level that I am at? What comes up when I say that? It's like you're having to down regulate your language and your frequency and your mindset in order to not trigger somebody else.
I I feel like my whole life I've cared too much about everyone else around me. So, what you're saying, it makes sense because I worry about, offending
Hmm.
the driver next to me or the person in line behind. I'm very like self-aware of everyone else's needs at all
Yes.
times.
Yes. We're constantly reading other people.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I said one of your greatest gifts is the gift of perception
Hmm.
and thinking outside of the box. This is going against cultural, religious, societal norms and
Hmm.
just completely coming at life in a different way than the majority of people. Okay. And you can see things that other people cannot about
Hmm.
themselves or about things that are happening, in life. That triggers people.
Yeah.
Okay. And I said, "Oh, you learned how to match what they wanted from you or expected of you and how much they could handle of you." So that's where all those filter lenses are of like, "Oh, I can't let them in or too close to me, or I need to change the way I'm talking or the way that they're seeing me." It's kind of having that chameleon energy.
Hmm.
Okay. And you looked at me, you said, "Well, dang." And I said, "It's okay." I said, "I went through that exact same thing of having to shift my energy constantly for other people. And it's exhausting." Is that how it has felt?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I came to the conclusion a couple months ago. I'm like, I just don't fit in here. Like, I
Yes, on
just,
Earth.
yes, like,
Okay.
I'm like, I don't fit in, and that's okay
Yes.
because I just feel like I'm not from here or something. Like, I just,
Yes. This you haven't had a lot of incarnations here.
yeah, or something. I don't know,
You're
but
like, what is going on with y'all? Okay. Yes. Okay. So I told her, or you, the people who did that to you in the past, or maybe even currently doing it to you now. Okay. The people who did that to you were responding to their own unresolved trauma, triggers, and projections. They're looking down on you because they're like, "Oh, you're the weird one. Why
Mhm.
don't you fit in? Why are you not normal?" But it's actually vice versa. Okay. So they were trying to force their energy onto you to shift who you are. And that is something that you, what is the word, abhor. People manipulating other people with their energy. Is that something that you are very vehemently against? Like
Yeah,
oppressive type of,
yeah,
and
yeah,
gaslighting and things like that. Okay.
yeah,
Yes. Okay.
yeah.
That's because it's been done to you so often. Yes. Okay. So I said, when you are standing strong in who you are, it is not being oppressive towards others. So there's a schematic that's running in your system of being too bright with your energy because you don't want to do to others what has been done to you. And I said, that's not what's happening here. Okay, I said, you are a very self-aware, loving person. And when you are sharing your opinions and your thoughts and all this love that you have to offer, it's in a supportive manner. And you're not
Mhm.
forcing it upon others. It's an invitation. It's saying, this is what I believe and this is how I function. If it helps you, I invite you to come into my fields. I'm not trying to overstep into yours and force you to change or force you to be somebody that you're not. That is what's been done to you, but that's not what you're doing to other people. What comes up when I say that?
Um, I mean, I agree. Um,
Has that been a fear of yours of like doing too much with people?
yeah, I feel like I feel like as I've gotten older, that's probably the main reason I keep more to myself. Um, I don't want to be seen or heard. I want to just stay in
Right.
my own little bubble. But yeah, I also don't want to feel bad for who I am or
Hmm.
what I am or anything. So,
I think that fear of being seen and being heard, that's a protective trauma response. However, there's all of these people over here that want your flavor of magic and your healing capabilities, but they need to be able to see and to hear you. And they can't do that if we're hiding within ourselves.
right.
So that's where your higher self is coming in with the, hey, we got to get prepared to put ourselves out there and be talking about what we can do. Okay, because it's very special what you're able to do. Okay, we're gonna get into that. Okay, so I was when I was speaking to her, I said, I think the anger that you've been experiencing is from you having a fragmented image of yourself from all of those filter lens distortions that we're constantly having to keep up for other people. It's like trying to see yourself through a mirror, but it has fog all over it. You know, when you have to clear it off because you can't see yourself very well, that
Hmm.
is causing disruptions in our energetic flows and how we're seeing ourselves and how we're interacting with reality. Okay. So this is when your energy body started to get a little bit nervous. And I said, hey, girl, let's take a breath. Okay. And we took a big calming breath in. And I said, it's not your fault. I said, you did that to keep all of the littler versions of you safe because they were tired of being domineered over. So
Hmm.
that is a safety mechanism that we put there. I said, what is a blessing is you being there to protect them and doing that for them. So I was trying to help her not feel shameful and guilty for getting caught in that behavioral loop because we all get stuck in those things as empaths and light workers. I said, every day is a new opportunity to take one of those lenses off. Hey, when you have something present to you, this is when we can say, hey, I'm a sovereign being, I'm an adult. Nobody can force their energy upon us like was done when we were younger.
Hmm.
Where can we stand stronger in our convictions right now? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. I said there is a difference in being open-minded and allowing yourself to be swayed and influenced. What comes up when I say that?
Um, well, I've recently started standing up for myself in situations,
Nice. Okay.
and I almost feel like I should have been like a psychiatrist because I feel like I understand people's motives now and I
Uh-huh.
see it on a different level to where they can't manipulate me.
Yes.
So I'm like, I I've been calling people out
Hmm.
and people that I'm close to. So it's hard. But I feel proud of myself for being able to do that.
Yeah. And we don't have to change them, but we can be strong and you also don't get to change me though.
Right.
Right. Like
I
I'm
don't
just
have
doing
to
my thing over here.
right. I don't have to accept it anymore.
Right. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So I said you have been around a lot of people that have stronger energy fields than you and that have made you shrink within yourself. And that's probably representative of your childhood years or teenage years or young adult years. Not really necessarily the current version of you, but in the past. And so when somebody was coming in with intense energy, it's like, oh, how can I shield myself through these filter lenses?
Hmm.
Okay. So I said this might also be blocking up receiving clients. Okay, because we as a practitioner are concerned about having too strong of an energy field because other people that have strong energy fields have traumatized us.
Hmm.
So you are keeping your energy field very close to your chest, which is not allowing us to shine to the people that are ready and open and ready to receive our medicine.
Okay.
Okay. So this is when you started to get a little nervous. And I said, okay, what's going on? And then 8-year-old you came forward. And I said, hey, let's take a breath together. And then we took a calming breath. And I said, we're going to do an exercise. What do you want your auric fields to be made out of? And she said, sprinkles. I said, great, love that. Just like colorful ice cream sprinkles. So we made her whole, light field around her. And I said, I want you to go stand way over there, and I'm going to stand over here. I said, I want you to make your energy field as big as you possibly can. And then I'm going to do the same thing. And she said, well, what if I hurt you with my auric fields by making it so big that it impedes over mine? And I said, don't worry about that. I said, there's no way that you can hurt my field. Okay, or me. Just trust me. And so she made it like this huge, massive field. And I said, okay, I want you to look at what's happening right now. So my field was this big circle out in front of me, almost like a hula hoop. And then hers was like a hula hoop, but they were overlapping one another,
Hmm.
like a Venn diagram. And she said, what is this? And I said, do you notice how I'm still in my energy field and you're in your energy field, but we have an overlap? And she said, yes, what is that? And I said, that's you and I being very open and receptive and us finding common ground between one another so we can both level up. But I'm not trying to change your beliefs, and you're not trying to change my beliefs. We're coming together for this cohesive experience. But notice how neither of us are hurting one another, even though we have very strong energy fields. And she was like, oh, I get it. I said, yes, you are not being an oppressor by stepping fully into your gifts. The opposite is happening. I said, I'm having a great time here with you. And that made her really happy. Okay. Okay. Questions about that?
Um, I don't have any. I don't have any.
Okay. Does that make sense, that symbolism?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I was like, look at us. We both get to bask in each other's glory. Okay. Okay. So this is when I told her to come closer to me and I said, what do you want to be able to do? Okay, with your abilities, because I don't feel like that we've been able to utilize them at our full extent. And she said, I want to see the stars. And I said, oh, that sounds fun. And so I took her outside and I went like this with my hand so that we could see all the stars in the sky. And I said, now what? She said, I want to be able to touch them. I said, okay. And I picked her up and then we went and landed on a star. And we're walking around and I said, what do you want to do now? And she said, I want to hear the stars. I said, okay. So she leaned down and put her ear on the star. And I said, what do you hear? And she said, I hear welcome, sister, which I thought was funny and cute.
Oh.
Welcome, welcome, sister. So this is when her and I actually went inside of the star, and there was what we were envisioning as a goddess, but it was the consciousness of this star. We went to go talk to her, and she looked at your little girl version, and she said, "You are a celestial channeler."
Hmm.
Okay. What this means, she told me you open people's cosmic gateway chakra. Okay, has that been something that you have gotten into?
Never. I don't think so.
Okay.
Not intentionally.
Okay, so you help open the chakra within other people. And she said you help them remember their light bodies, the version of them that is outside of their physical body.
Okay.
Okay. You help them remember their celestial connections. So this is if they have had any incarnations or connections with the sun and the moon and the stars and having to do with, I mean, celestial dragons can be in there too. It is things made of light, ethereal energies. When I am reading people, oftentimes they'll fall into specific categories where it is they, oh, you have a lot of earth energy. Oh, you have a lot of galactic energy. Oh, you have a lot of celestial energy. Okay. You, so much celestial energy. Okay, that's probably also why you feel very out of whack being here on Earth. Because you're like, oh, I'm supposed to be up there. Okay. Okay. So, in order to understand this chakra a little bit more, have you gotten into the transpersonal chakra system?
No.
Okay, so above our crown chakra, Okay, before I get into that one, do you know about the Earth Star chakra?
I feel like I've heard of it, but
Okay,
not really.
that one is a foot underneath your feet and is connected to the heart of Mother Gaia and the crystalline core. It helps you remember why you chose to incarnate on Earth specifically. So even though it's an earthly based chakra, it has more to do with connecting to your chakras that are further up above your crown. But you as a practitioner and working with people, all of this information up here doesn't really matter as much if they hate being here on Earth. Like all of this is supposed to help you integrate into your life experience here. So oftentimes working with your Earth Star chakra first before you get up here is going to be more beneficial, not only for you, but for clients as well. So I
Okay.
would recommend working with that one to begin with. And I can send you some resources too if you would like.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Yes, I will send you those. Okay, so we have our Earth Star chakra, and then we have our causal chakra. This is connected to the moon. This helps us translate information from our higher self and our spirit team and just hear things more clearly that are outside of our physical senses. And then we have our soul star chakra and our stellar gateway chakra. And then you have the one at the tippy top pinnacle that is the cosmic gateway chakra that you help people with. And you are actually the first person that I have seen that works with that one specifically.
So am I working with it now or I
Yes. Hey,
okay.
this is why your higher self was saying, like, hey, okay, the level in which we activate other people is so incredibly triggering because we are so far beyond all of the programming and trauma and like all this stuff, heavy density that we have going on here on Earth. You're like the extreme version of activation over here because you are so much more connected to your light body and the celestial energies that are outside of this density scape. That's also probably why it's been jarring being in a physical body for you because you're used to being light. Okay, or at least being like on a different dimension of consciousness, much like, okay, that goddess that we met that was inside of that star.
Mhm.
There's an actual physical star, right? That's made out of whatever materials that star is made out of. But then
Mhm.
there's like a higher consciousness that's more thought waves. Okay, it doesn't really have physical form. That's what you connect to. So even in your Reiki practice, what your higher self was telling me is that you are supposed to be a conduit for celestial energies and helping people heal via them. So, channeling directly from the sun, or channeling directly from the moon, or channeling from Venus or Mars or wherever you want to. That is very intense energy. And one of the reasons that we have not stepped into that gift yet is because of the fear of outshining others and being too intense for them.
Okay.
That's where we have to take those filters off and be like, oh, let me show y'all what I can do. Okay. I can rock your bleep. Okay. Like, I can activate the mess out of you if I am allowing myself to do that. This is really helping people open up the lines of communication to facets outside of them just seeing themselves as human here. Just like, oh no, I'm going to help you remember that this is not the only place that you're from.
Hmm.
Let me open this up so you can see all of these different incarnations that you've experienced and be able to see and hear them more clearly. That's what you can do.
I have a really good friend and I saw in one session I saw her in six past lives.
Yes.
That was one of the most intense.
Yeah.
And my friend who she's a medium and she said, oh, well, you were able to see that because she's part of your soul's family.
Mhm.
She's part of your soul family.
Mhm.
But I've never seen that. I've never done that before. It was very it was amazing.
Oh
I
yeah.
saw her as a man. I saw her in different countries, in different time periods. It was really cool.
The level of work that you're going to be able to do with people is very intangible because there's nothing that you can do to prove to somebody about the information that you are going to give to them. That is something that is going to have to be felt within their soul. It's an inner knowing,
Mm-hmm.
but with that goes against a lot of your own trauma wounds and programming and fears of persecution and not, making yourself too big. This is a version of ourselves that we're going to have to step into of I said what I said. I saw what I saw. But I also don't have to convince you because you're so open that you either see or you understand what I'm telling you. Your sessions not only are going to help that person on an expansatory level, you are going to experience so many different planetary systems and stars and depths within other people. Like you are going to vastly expand and expand and expand and expand. But we have to shift that dynamic of pulling in people that we have to um convert, not convert, to what's the word I'm looking for?
Convince or
Convince. Okay, then we have to convince of like, hey, this stuff, like you're trying to convince them of like basic stuff, and your higher self is like, girl, like you could do all this stuff over here. Okay. But we have to be okay with becoming that version. Because you have all that in you. It's not even something that you're necessarily going to have to train yourself to do. Like, this is a gift that is going to just clink on in as soon as you allow yourself to open your perception up that wide.
Okay.
What comes up when I say that are questions?
How do I do that? How am I going to do that?
Yes. Okay. So let's talk about are there any fears that come up when I say all of this? Because that's where we need to start first.
I mean, I feel like I'm too intense for most people.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
I feel like um I say things how I feel them um or I the way I look sometimes I feel like I'm too intense for people to even
Mhm.
look at me. I've felt that my whole life. So
Yeah.
I feel like as I'm going to be 38 this year, I've carried that with me forever, you know? So I'm just curious as to how I'm going to alter this in myself.
Hmm.
And am I going to be like in my 60s before I can,
No.
you
No.
know?
No, no. Okay. Why? Okay, one of the schematics that we're running right now is that we do not feel safe being intense around other people. Like there is a fear that something is going to happen to us. That might be coming just from this incarnation. It could come from other incarnations, but there is a fear of persecution or violence or XYZ. Okay. What is that for you? What is the worst case scenario that's going to happen in our reality? Is it that we're going to feel ostracized? Is it that we're going to lose friends? What exactly is running there?
I I don't like to fight with people. I don't like to upset people. So I think that that's like the main thing. Like I want everyone to be peaceful and everyone to be like okay with me and with everybody. So I guess I don't want to be intense. I don't want to upset somebody, I guess.
That's
Why? I
that's
don't
that's
know, but
giving masking and people pleasing.
yes.
Okay. Well, the reason that you do that is because it's been done to you. But this is where those energetics are off right now because the reason that people have done that to you is because they're trying to manipulate you or they're trying to make you shrink inside of yourself. You are just sharing love and joy, and that's going to trigger people. It is because people have unhealed wounds within them.
Right.
Doesn't mean anything about you. What you're doing is saying, I'm going to pull back my frequency and meet you where you're at, so I'm not triggering you with my light and my love. When your higher self was like, why don't we just stand sovereign and ask them to meet us where we're at? Because that's where they need to be.
Right.
They don't, it's not helping you and it's not helping them for you to curl tail to their unhealed traumas. Because you're not being manipulative and you're not trying to harm them. You're saying, I am trying to help you by standing sovereign and sharing love. That's what I was explaining to your 8-year-old. I was like, hey girl, like, I love your energy. Like, let's do this. Okay? Because I'm not being triggered by your intensity because I have worked on myself. But if I stayed back in those other places of unhealed, yeah, she would be triggering to me. But that doesn't mean that you should stop shining brightly.
Right.
Because without you, I would have never became the person I am today. Like I had to have people to trigger me to say, I want to be like that person. And sometimes people don't see that yet. They're like, oh no, she thinks she's better than me or whatever. That's not really what you have going on. You're just confident and empowered and sovereign, but they're perceiving it in a different lens because of those unhealed traumas. But it's not serving them for you to shrink.
Right.
It's better serving them to be like, I'm happy, and if you want to be happy too, I can help you. Okay, or I can teach you. I'm not going to force it on you. I'm not going to manipulate you. I'm going to do my own thing over here. That's it. And if you want to come over here, great. Okay. When I was in the beginning stages of working through all of this, I was pulling in so many people that were triggered by me. But it's also because I was looking for that, because I was used to it. I
Okay.
really had to shift my focus with my inner children and work on safety and security within and say, hey, nothing's going to happen to us just because people are looking at us. Nothing's going to happen to us just because they're triggered. Why don't we shift our energy and focus and try and find people in the room that have joyous energy fields or that are
Mm.
smiling or that look happy? Let's try and have more positive reactions with people. You've got to shift your perception and your energy because right now you're hyper fixating on, I need to prep myself for a fight. And that's why we keep on pulling in more people like that because we're focusing on that. But that's your reality because that's what's happened. But you've got to get yourself up out of that paradigm and say, I'm only focused on love. I'm only focused on people that are joyous. If they're looking at me and they're getting triggered, oh, that's their business. Like, I'm gonna keep doing me over here. Okay. Like, because there's so many people that want happy people like you. Because I know you're a very happy, bubbly, cheerful person when you're in the flow, when you're out of your head and like dealing with all that stuff over there. They're gonna love that about you. They're like, yes, please activate me. Please help me remember. Oh my gosh. Like that is going to be the greatest gift that you can give people is staying in your joy. It's part of your job to trigger people. How are they gonna grow if you don't? I know it's intense and I know it's really scary, especially to the inner children inside. It feels like somebody's chasing you around with a pitchfork.
I feel like I've had a lot of experiences with people, and it's just like it's like once I have an experience, something happens, they're triggered, I'm triggered, it ends badly, and
Yes.
then another person shows up and the same thing happens, and I'm like, is it me? Like, what am I doing? Why do I have all these people that I don't get along with, or that I don't?
It's the trauma response. It's let me find all of the people that have chaotic negative energy fields that are around me because then when I know where they're at, I can keep myself safe.
Mm.
So we're looking for that. That used to be me too, of like I need to like control the situation that I'm in right now because I'm scared. I'm scared of what is going to happen to me because there's been so many negative things that have happened to me. So I'm guarding and protecting myself. Well, if you're walking around guarded and protected, that is attracting things for you to guard and protect yourself. Okay. So, one
Right.
of the things that you're probably doing in conversations with people is overextending your energy by trying to like convince them and like take their emotions and their thoughts into consideration and their traumas because you can see their higher self and their inner children and like all this stuff. You got to tighten up on your energy field. If this person is being open to what I have to say, I'm not trying to convince them. If they're just open person, I will conversate with you all the live long day and give you all this energy, and then we can have this whole ta-da. If you are going to be defensive or manipulative or try and bite me with your energy to try and make me shrink, I'm closing my energy field to you. I'm completely closing it off. I will send you love, okay, and grace, but I'm not participating in that. I'm not playing in that. I'm not doing that anymore. The reason that you have been doing that is because it's kept you safe for so long.
Hmm.
And that's fine. That's okay. Lots of empaths and light workers go through that. But it is not your job to heal everyone. You have a very special brand of magic. It is going to, okay, require a lot from you is not the right word. The energy that you have to offer others requires you to be in a very high level energy for the depth level that you are able to get into. You cannot expend your energy on people that are not receptive because now you're just busted down and exhausted and don't want to deal with people and you're pushing clients away because you're like, I don't want to do that anyway. Like the once in a while get somebody that's like super awesome and open. I get so much fuel and energy back from that.
Right.
Now, I don't like this. Okay.
Yeah.
So when we are having conversations with people in like our regular 3D paradigms, we got to tighten up on I don't have to utilize my energy abilities on everybody because then I don't have anything left for the clients that I do want to be working with. And those clients are going to fill back up my cup. I could be talking about the heaviest trauma with a client that is open and it does not drain me at all. But if I'm talking to Dave over here at Target that doesn't want to hear what I have to say or is being defensive or combative with his energy, oh my gosh, that is the most draining thing imaginable. But it's not my responsibility to heal him. I can try and say, "Hey, let me invite you into my realm." But what I'm not going to do is allow you to energetically attack me. That's when I'm going to close my energy off and move on to the next. I'm not going to allow somebody to pull me out of my happily cheerful fairy vibes. It does not feel good to not be in that energy.
Right. It
Okay,
doesn't.
I can start getting sucked into the 3D and I start feeling constricted and constrained and tied down. That's probably how you have been feeling. Stop overgiving your energy. Those people aren't going to do anything with it.
Right.
And you can plant seeds. I'm not saying that we shouldn't just, not that we should be ugly to people or anything like that, but there's a way that you can ask somebody's higher self, is this person going to be open to what I'm about to say? And their higher self will tell you. Be like, no. Or they were like, yeah, can you talk to them like a little bit and plant a seed? Okay. You have that ability. You know how to do that because you're already talking to people's higher selves and their inner children. That's why you have rose-colored glasses and you try and overextend your energy to so many people. Because you're like, I can see beyond your traumas. Just let me get in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I feel like I should have been a psychiatrist.
Hmm.
Because I'm like, I already know what's going on with you without even talking to you. Or
Yes.
you're talking to me and I already know what's going on with you without even talking about what's going on with you.
Well, do you also see where that is your deeper energy healing abilities coming into play as well? Because you can see the multitudes of layers within somebody.
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like that's gotten stronger over the past couple years.
What we could be doing instead, okay, this takes a lot of work to work through somebody's human psyche stuff, especially if they're defensive and not open. Okay.
Hmm.
What we could be doing instead is going in and finding all of this multidimensional energy about them and reactivating them and awakening them and them having all these consciousness expansions and like widening their mindset and, all of these wonderful things. That work is easy. It's so easy, but you have to allow yourself to shift into being that type of practitioner and letting go of, I got to convince people.
Right.
You might be trying to prove your own abilities to yourself
I think I am.
through these people, okay?
I think, yeah, I
When your
think
higher
that's
self is
part of
like,
it.
if you just worked with these people over here, girl, you would never question yourself ever again. Just like that person that you were able to see so many of their past lives, because that was easy, because they were open.
Right.
Yes. I think that one of the reasons that you have not created more forward movement at the pace that you would prefer is because you're looking at a future timeline where this is just going to continue happening, like a reiteration of like, I don't want to do this if this is what this is going to be. So it hasn't given us a lot of fuel because I'll be honest with you, running your own business is a lot. It's not all rainbows and unicorns and all these different things. Oh, are you still there?
Yeah.
Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you. It
Oh,
just
okay.
like kind of froze
Oh, okay. It froze for
for
a
a
second.
second.
Okay. So
It's good
being,
now though.
being an entrepreneur, there are so many things that are outside of energy healing that not that it's taxing or draining, but it's just a lot of things that you're having to teach yourself that aren't always the super fun energy healing parts of it, right? You have to
Right.
have something that is really motivating you to work through those stages and learning those things. Whereas, oh, me sitting here convincing a whole bunch of people, it's like, it's not worth it. Okay.
Yeah.
That is so physically exhausting. If we do have a goal of, I am a celestial channeler. I can literally connect somebody to any type of planetary system or star or the consciousness of those beings and help them experience a heightened light body where they don't feel so dense in their human physical vessel and they're able to connect into their extrasensory psychic senses and abilities. And I can see all these different incarnations. That's fun. That's exciting. That is going to give you the fuel to keep on pouring into yourself. And it's like, I don't care about this business stuff that might be hard sometimes. Like, I love what I do. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. But we have to be willing to let go of this over here. Okay. We're
Okay.
tightening up on our energy field and redirecting our energy and intention about our reality. Because right now, what you're running, which I used to run too, is I hate people because they treat me like this. And everybody I talk to, it's a struggle and it's hard, and I have to be on the defense and all. Then that just keeps running.
Right.
We got to tell our inner children, girls, you are safe. I am the adult. I don't need you to protect me anymore. I appreciate you for what you have done, and it has kept us safe. But let me show you that we can be in a different reality, but you're going to have to trust me. And in order for us to feel better while we're out in public and conversating with other people, we have to look for joy. We have to look for magic. We have to look for people smiling. We have to look for colorful things. We've got to redirect what we're focusing on. You will be surprised at how fast that works. I used to have horrible social anxiety. I was so scared, especially around men, like just it was awful going out in public. I said, you know what? We got to make some changes. Okay. I realized all of these safety trauma responses, and I would, before I went into a pharmacy or Target or wherever when I'm by myself. Say, hey, inner kids, I love you. We're safe. I'm going to take care of you while we are in here. I do not need you to protect me. Let me show you that I am the higher self. When you take a pause to have a conversation like that, it separates you from them, detaches you from your central nervous system flaring up. Okay. And I would tell them, as soon as we get in the store, we're going to find something that is silly, that is colorful. We're going to find somebody that's smiling. We're going to go to the toy section. We're going to go look at the flowers. We're going to look at the colorful apples, right? As soon as I go in the store. Because once you start your attention on that, and I would make it like a game, who can find it the fastest? Okay. Because kids love games. Once your attention starts going in that direction, now you're looking for people that are emanating joy instead of chaos, which you have been looking for. Then when I would get back in the car, I would do a debrief and say, look how much fun we had. Notice how we were safe. Wasn't it wonderful not to be energy reading every single person in the store? Didn't you feel so much more relaxed? Isn't it great to find treasure and things that make us smile? That's what we got to do to get us out of that loop. And let me tell you, it only took a couple of weeks of me doing that, and I started having completely different experiences in life. Not just with strangers, but like with my family members, with my son. We've got to get them out of the trauma response by showing them, I got you. You're safe. That's not going to happen to you anymore. But you have to be the one to shift out of it. Now, people, when I go out in public, people open the door for me. I get in compliments, people giving me things. They're laughing and joking. People love being in my energy fields. I have the best experiences. But then when people try and check me or energetically bite me or try and domineer my energy field, you do not get that version of me.
Right.
Mm-mm. You get Stone Cold Steve Austin. Okay. And that is after I have given you an invitation to be in a loving experience. If you're going to give me
Right.
otherwise, I'm pulling that back. It is not my responsibility to shift your energy fields.
Right.
We've been allowing too many people to affect us to keep us safe. How about you affect them? You say, no, I'm gonna hold it down over here. Okay. Okay. What comes up when I say all of this?
Um, I have always been on the defense. I can remember being younger, walking down the street, and if I saw someone coming towards me, I would think about how I was going to defend myself if they
Hmm.
attacked me.
Yeah.
I don't know where that comes from, honestly, but I have always been like that. Now, before I go into a store, I ask my guides for protection. I ask for a bubble of light to surround me and my children. I'm always on the
On the defense.
defense. I'm always like, protect my energy, protect. Um, and yeah, I guess I didn't realize how much that was affecting me. Like, I thought that was bettering me. I thought that
Yeah.
was, you know, shielding me for the better.
And it has been. I mean, there's a reason that you had to do that, whether it's from your parents or teachers or whatever. That was a mechanism that served you. But now we are the higher self, and we have to come in and say, I'm not that version anymore. I
Right.
have tools and resources. I'm an energy healer. I'm a practitioner. I have the ability to keep all of this safe. If we continue to try and protect ourselves and shield and guard, we are always going to walk around attracting things like that. Instead of allowing other people to influence us, nobody influences my fields. I'm sovereign, I'm empowered. I share love and compassion and fun and joy and sprinkles and all these things, right? I influence other people's fields in a positive way. because that's what people want. Their higher self wants that, even if they don't want it. You know, their inner children and their higher self do.
Right.
They want to bask in love and light. If their human gets triggered by that, those poor little inner children need it. Their higher self needs it too. We don't have to interact on the levels that we have been. You can still share love and light. What are you trying to protect yourself from?
I don't know.
Yeah, let that go. There's no need to do that anymore. You needed to do that in the past because you were a smaller version of yourself.
Right.
Because you're a child, you're a teenager, you're a young adult that does not have the conscientious awareness to protect yourself.
Right.
But now you do. So we don't need that mechanism anymore. Let it go. And that's easier said than done. It's a practice. That's why I want to give you that exercise before we go into the stores and things like that.
Right.
Yeah, do something with your kids. Be like, hey, when we go in the store, we're gonna go find something that is the color blue. Who can find it the fastest? You can find something with glitter on it or with iguana or whatever you want it to be. Okay, you can get them involved as well. That would be a good practice for your kids anyway.
Mm.
I have to do that with my son all the time. Like, hey, because he would be a negative Nancy sometimes. How about we try and go in with a positive attitude? Okay, or try and find something fun while we go in the store. And what I was explaining to your past versions, we're we're not going to feel shameful and guilty for a mechanism that kept us safe. Thank goodness we had that. Because otherwise, if we didn't, life might look a lot different than it does right now. And we're still here. So yeah.
Right.
Okay. Now we just get to move into the next chapter. To help you with your celestial channeling gifts. Okay. Are you a channeler of messages anyway?
Yes.
Okay. We need to pick some different planetary systems and some different stars, sun, the moon, whatever you want to do. Okay, even Mother Gaia, like she's one in and of herself, right?
Hmm.
And ask to go speak to the consciousness of them to get messages or downloads or insights, or for you to fully embody their energetics in your body so that way you can project that to other people in sessions.
Okay.
Okay. This is a form of celestial Reiki, if you want to call it that.
Okay. And celestial is just the whole system,
What,
everything.
what do you mean by system?
Like the whole solar system, every planet, every star.
Yeah. It could just be seen things of the stars.
Okay.
Okay. Planets, stars, galaxies, whatever. It is okay. Your higher self also wants you to not get caught up so much too on the actual physicality of these things, but more so I connect with the consciousness of that being's
Okay.
light field. Because yes, planetary or planets and stars can help someone with their physical attributes, just like Mother Gaia helps with grounding and, her waters and trees and animals and things like that. But then there's actually Mother Gaia herself as a conscious being.
Okay.
Okay, you are able to help with both of those layers. So don't get caught up in so much of the physicality, but the consciousness.
Okay.
But both are helpful. And there's also different elemental beings you could work with. There's celestial dragons, there's celestial fairies. It extends past planets and stars. It's anything with celestial energy. So you got to dig within yourself too and ask, what does celestial mean to me? Because it means one thing to me, but it can mean a completely different thing to you and your energetics and your higher self and your Akasha fields. There might be things that I'm not privy to because that's not the type of healer that I am. You're going to have a lot more access to celestial information than me or other people because
Okay.
that's the main type of your energy healing. So you're probably also going to be teaching people what it means to be a celestial healer or connect to celestial bodies or celestial consciousness. And that is why your higher self said, hey, we're going to have to really work on trusting ourselves and in the intangible because this is not stuff that you can prove. Okay, this is things that
Right.
people feel within their soul and they have an inner knowing. You are going to come into a contact with a lot of people that have celestial energy or they are channelers themselves so that you activate those facets within them. But you have to integrate and accept that about yourself so they can start being pulled into your field.
Okay.
That also means shining very brightly and be like, yes, I can channel a whole planet in her consciousness. Okay. Now, that's okay to take baby steps up into that. Okay. So, something that you might do for that is, hey, I do connect into different planets and star systems and utilize the physicality healing properties first because there's a more density to that and a more tangibility to it, and then start pulling in the consciousness of that planetary system or galaxy or the stars. There's different layers. Just like when you're talking to somebody about physical pains that they're experiencing, that's dense and that's heavy, right? Now we're
Hmm.
talking about mental things. Now we're talking about spiritual things.
Hmm.
It's okay to baby step your way up into it.
Okay.
So find some planets, stars, galaxies, whatever, that are of interest to you and that you're passionate about, and start there
Okay.
and working on connecting and channeling, whether that's the physical version of them or the consciousness version of them. You're going to start to feel the frequency differences from Mars and Venus and the
Okay.
different messages that they have to offer. And then once that imprints in your system, you're going to be able to share that with somebody else intentionally if you want to. If you want to tell them, hey, I'm a celestial channeler, or if you just want to weave that into what you do, it's all healing energy.
Right.
They're not usually concerned with
Where it's
where all
coming
this stuff
from.
coming from.
Right.
Some people are. The people that you will eventually work with are going to be interested in that because that's
Okay.
the type of healers and channelers that they are. So they're looking for that within their soul because they need that activated by somebody who knows what they're talking about.
Okay. So, like, how different? I mean, I've worked with planets as far as like astrology. I've always been
Hmm.
interested, so I've dabbled in their energy in that way.
Yes.
So the that's not like the conscious energy of it. Like how Mars is like very passionate, very powerful. Like that's not the conscious energy of it.
Yeah,
That's like the
that's more like an energetic expression of that
okay.
planet, right?
Okay.
But that consciousness of Mars in and of itself is going to have specific messages to share with you, just like another human being would.
Okay.
And there's physical attributes to Mars that you can also channel through and then offer that as healing as well. So there's characteristics, personality traits, physical attributes, enlightened messages, just like you would be working with Mother Gaia here.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. And your higher self also wants me to tell you we have these planets that we know, right? And stars. When you get deeper into it, you're going to be going way outside of this galaxy to
Okay.
planets and stars that people would have no idea about. And you'll end up teaching about those because you have a greater reach celestially than a lot of other people because it's part of your core template. So that's one of the reasons I love doing Akasha work to begin with is because through working with other people, I'm able to go out there and experience things that I wouldn't normally be able to with just myself.
Right.
Oh, I can go to all these different places that all these other people originated from and learn about all these different dimensions and planets and stars. You're going to be even better at it because you are a celestial traveler. It's going to be easier for you to reach these places and spaces than me, where I have to work through all of these different lenses through people to get to these places.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, so eventually this is going to become easier to me.
Oh, yeah,
Like
for sure. Yes.
just like standing here, I'm going to be able to channel the
Yes.
moon
Yes.
or
Yes.
okay.
Just like, and especially when you build a relationship with them.
Okay.
Okay, there was a time when I wanted to get into spirit guide channeling where I was like, oh, I want to channel Archangel Michael and Kali and Joan of Arc and all these different beings. And in the beginning, it was a little awkward and clumsy. You know what I mean? Because there's a whole other energetic form that's coming into my field for me to also channel alongside of myself. But then when I started building my relationship with them, it was a lot easier for me to hear and understand them and to relay those messaging and those healings. I could call upon it easy because it's already imprinted in me. I
Right.
know what the energy of Kali feels like. If I want to call on her, all right. I'm still conscious. Like you know about channeling. It's not like something just takes over.
Right. Right.
Right? You're working alongside this thing. But yeah, you will be able to say, okay, I'm calling in the moon and feel that difference while you are giving your Reiki. And it's not just Reiki, it's your whole communication style. If I was going to sit here and channel Kali, there's still part of me that my experiences and my medicine is coming through, but there's an influence and I'm shifting the way that I'm saying things or the energetics that I am carrying, depending upon what that person needs from me and from her.
Okay.
So it's just working alongside another healer while you're doing your work. But yeah, you'll be able to be like, easy. It's going to get easier and easier and easier because this is a part of your core template. This is not something that you're having to learn. This is something that is you. It'd be
Okay.
different if this is something you had no connections with prior. Like, let's say that you were wanting to learn human design. Yeah, that is going to be more difficult for you because that's not part of your innate talents.
I wonder if that's why I've always been drawn to like astrology and
Mm-hmm.
zodiac
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Yes.
I've always been. And I thought I would go into astrology. Like I thought I would dive deeper into an astrology course or something, but I'm like I feel like I have my fingers in all these pots and I'm like I just want to kind of focus on one thing
Mhm.
that I can harness my spirituality with, my gifts with. Um
Well, it's probably why
but
you went into Reiki because Reiki taught you how to channel certain energies to prep you for what you are able to do over here with celestial healing.
yeah.
So you
Yeah,
also
I
have to be okay with letting go of I am here to work on people's chakra systems through my Reiki.
right.
Actually, you're here to help with all these other things as well. And you can incorporate that through your Reiki, but it's not going to look like other people's Reiki. When I first, okay, I became a Reiki master in Kundalini Reiki, and when I started giving people chakra scans, it was not what other people were doing. I was having inner children come up and helping them through things. I was having different incarnations come through and helping clear with soul contracts and karmic lessons and helping with witch wounds and persecution, like stuff that is like outside of just doing channeling life force energy, which is fine if that's what you're doing. There's different levels to what people need,
Right.
but you've been capping yourself. with, oh, it's just this one thing over here. It's actually a lot deeper than that.
Is there something else that I could be doing that would help me harness it more than Reiki?
Oh, like maybe like a modality outside of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the channeling, like channeling outside of that, because when you're talking about Reiki, and I'm not talking about the whole experience, but when you're talking about Reiki, it's really about pulling through just healing energy in general and trying to intentionally like pull and shift and move things within people or, whatever. This is more about activating people's Akashic remembrances and helping them integrate into their light body. It's more about, well, let me see how your higher self wants me to word it. It's more about expanding into these different layers of self. It's not just about, hey, let me help you heal things with your physical or your mental or your emotional body. There's a lot more layers to it. So we have to be open to deepening our channeling when we are helping people. One of the reasons that you probably haven't been open to that is because the people you're working with aren't open to that.
Right.
So we have to reset within ourselves of I'm calling in people who want me to go deeper within them, but also allowing yourself to go deeper with your channeling and work on channeling messages. That's why I suggested, hey, we need to find some stars and some planets, um, and some galaxies or whatever that or oh, I gotta remind you of something. Hold on. And work on channeling messages from them
Okay.
because you are going to need to relay those to the human that you are working with. Just like what I am doing right now. I already went in there and worked with your inner child. And I already went in there and worked with your higher awarenesses and your astral body, but I still have to relay these things to your human to fully integrate so that your human will take action steps on the 3D plane. Does that
Right.
make sense? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you're still going to have to explain things to people to help them really fully integrate what is
Okay.
happening. Like, yeah, we love quantum work. Yes. Okay. But that doesn't always lend to that human taking the aligned action steps that they need.
Makes sense.
And I'm not saying you're gonna have to get in there and do a whole bunch of grunt work with people, but like, hey, this is what the moon had to say to you. Okay. Hey, this is a past life you might want to know about.
And I mean, connecting with like, say, the moon, am I just to help me channel with the moon? Am I like literally going outside, sitting with it and seeing what comes through? Or
Oh,
am I,
yeah, you don't have to go. You, if you want to go outside, that'd probably be beneficial, but you don't have to. You can sit in your house. And you can go in there and ask her questions about your own life. It doesn't always necessarily have to be for other people as well. It can be, this is a new friend that I am getting to know is going to be my colleague. And sometimes I'm going to need to call upon her. Or maybe she calls upon me. Maybe she needs some healing energy, just like Mother Gaia needs healing energy sometimes too, okay? And
yeah,
asking her questions about her. Or say, hey, do you have some advice for me about things that are going on in my life? What are you the most beneficial in helping other people with? Because the moon is going to be completely different than the sun,
right.
or completely different from Mars and Venus. What's your specialty? What should I call upon you when I am working with people?
Okay.
It's just like a colleague. And you can just start with yourself, with saying, what do I need to focus on? What can I heal? How can I grow? How can I improve my communication? How can I improve my business? How can I align more clients? How can I feel more safe and secure in my body? Because the moon is going to tell you something completely different than Pluto. This
Right.
is going to be like a whole new council of people for your team. And you doing that for yourself is going to help you decipher information for other people. But I will be honest with you, it is easier to channel for other people than it is yourself.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
That's why one of the reasons I became an energy healer in the first place, because I was experiencing so much anxiety and depression when I first started, and in helping other people, it helped me. I was having a hard time getting out of it myself, but seeing reflected back outside of me in somebody else made me listen to my own wisdom and insights and
Hmm.
kept me accountable and motivated. So there's going to have to be you jumping in and practicing this on people. Maybe doing some
Okay.
pre-work of let me find some planets and stars that I want to see what they are best suited to help me with so that when I am
Right.
in session with somebody, I can call upon them and receive the healing and the messages for this person. Do you have to relay that to that person if they're open and you feel comfortable? Sometimes healing on our side, I don't have to tell you everything that came through because it's not always pertinent, but the
Right.
healing's doing what it's supposed to be doing. But in order to pull in people that are in more resonance with this gift and what you're able to do, you're going to have to do all of that other stuff that we talked about with your inner children and feeling safe and secure and redirecting our energy and holding good boundaries and stepping up and shining our light. Open people who are in these more expansatory versions of themselves to receive the medicine that you have to offer are not coming to somebody that's guarded
Right.
because you're not an energetic match. They're going to go to somebody that's very free and sovereign and empowered because that's the level that they're at. So you have to shift your energy into the energy of those clients.
Okay.
Don't overthink it too. It sounds like this huge thing. Okay. Just try and have fun at the grocery store.
Okay.
Okay. It doesn't have to be this whole thing. Okay. It just make it easy. Let's just redirect our attention and just be more mindful about where we're leaking energy or why we're doing that and convincing people and stuff. Like, just no,
Right.
redirect back here instead of like looking out here all the time.
Right.
That's it. And then you'll start pulling in people like that. And then when you make content, people see that in your energy field subconsciously, or their higher self will be like, that's the one for you. And then all of this information, okay, right now you're probably like, how am I going to tell people about this? Okay. The more that you go in to connect with these celestial beings, the easier it is going to be for you to articulate and communicate because then you'll better understand what you're doing.
Okay.
If I had tried to explain what I do now in the beginning, I wouldn't have been able to pull that through with languaging. Like it just took practice of continuing to learn how to channel and how to pull these messages down. Now it's easy. It all works the way it's supposed to work. Okay. Like it gets easier over time. There's gonna be a day when you wake up, you're like, wow, this is so easy. It is not difficult like it has been in the past. But that's because we just need to shift some things that are going on in our life. That's it. And what your higher self wants you to take away from this is it is not going to be a struggle. This is actually going to get easier if you just implement these things.
Okay.
You're going to be in a completely different reality like a couple months from now. Okay.
Great.
Yes. But ask these different beings, can you help me with my business? Can you give me some new ideas and some downloads and some insights? And they will.
I will.
They want to work with you. This is not you convincing them to work with you. Like they're like, we're here. They've worked with you in the past. You are a celestial healer. This is not just this incarnation. This is like outside of here. This is why you don't resonate with being on Earth.
Do you think I've done this like
Oh, for sure.
many times before?
For sure. For you to be able to open people's cosmic or their cosmic gateway, for sure. Yes, that's why you're so triggering to people as well. You've been around the block. That's why you have such good perception abilities. But that's also probably why you're so afraid of persecution, because you probably witness and experience that over a multitude of lifetimes.
Okay.
But we need to understand this is not that.
Right.
We are in a new age. I can do Reiki on Zoom. Okay. I have communities that I can integrate into and be safe and secure and prosper and thrive. This is not me living in some village trying to hide who I am and find clients whenever I can. This is like, no, I have open access to a plethora of things. We're in a different time period. So you've got to
Right.
do some diving within with those different incarnations. This is not that, but I appreciate y'all for trying to protect me. It's the same thing that's happening with your inner children right now. We are being overprotective because of a safety trauma response that served us, just like your probably other timelines are trying to do to you right now. Be like, I don't need that anymore. We're in a different reality in this incarnation with our inner children, but also from those other timelines.
Right.
That's probably why you're so like intently scared about stepping into this because you can feel those other timelines because you do that level of work. So there's going to be a day when you're going to need to go in there and do that karmic healing with them. But that day will come. Start with your inner children first. We cannot
Okay.
help our different incarnations if our inner children are suffering with the same thing. It's easier to start with them because they're tangible and you have memories with them and they're
Okay.
closer to you in your Akashic records. Once you clear it out with them, then it's easy to heal different lifetimes
Okay.
because now you have the
How
tools. You taught yourself
how
how to do it.
how many inner children do I have? Like,
Okay, so with inner children, the way that I quantify that is when there are major experiences that have happened, whether positive or negative, that have shifted your persona or protective mechanisms, or they have, let me see what ourselves is saying here. So protective mechanisms, but it can also be positive things. Like there can be things that happen and you're like, oh, this is why I want to help people. Okay. It's anything that has created a diversion in self, positive or negative. Usually there are intense emotions that are attached to them and memories. And they are like these
mhm.
little fragments where you can go in and speak to them about what has happened during that chapter of your life. They are at a completely different consciousness level than you are right now. So when we're doing inner child healing, we're often trying to talk to them like an adult, and you are perceiving that experience completely different than they did. So we're needing to go in and speak to them
Right.
at their level, like you would a child, and give them tools and resources that would help a child. So the amount of inner children that you have within you is dependent upon how many diverted experiences that you have had. It's an easier way to heal. It sounds like it would be even more
Okay.
of a mountain to climb. It actually makes it easier because let's say that you have imposter syndrome. If you're trying to heal that one big wound, there's so many layers to that. Like so many layers all throughout your whole entire life, probably. If you can look back and say, when did I first experience that? Or when was a significant time period? Oh, I remember when I was 10 years old, my mom said XYZ and it really caused some damage. Well, how about I go talk to 10-year-old me and help her specifically through that experience? And when you do that, it radiates out to all of the other imposter syndrome wounds. And I'm not saying it clears all of them out
Okay.
because there can be different levels to that. Like a 2-year-old is going to be very far away from a 22-year-old, right? But it does have impact. It's
Right.
easier, just like with chakra healing.
Okay.
If you're trying to heal a whole entire chakra, there's so much going in there, right? But if you go in and you try and heal the fear of being seen, okay, in your throat chakra. Even though that's something that's very hyper specific, is still going to bring healing to your whole entire body. But it's going to be easier to work on something that's
Right.
very specific and it's going to have more impact than trying to do a whole entire system to flush those things out.
Right.
So, with the inner children question, it depends. There's not really a set number for
Okay.
people. It's more what fragmented pieces have occurred because of XYZ. And but when I say fragment, sometimes that's kind of like a negative lens. There have been a lot of times where I have done inner child healing where I have forgotten about these really joyous experiences and they have stuck around as something that is separate so that I can heal through seeing that separateness. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I actually wrote down, I did like a journaling session where I thought back to every traumatic experience that I've had and wrote
Mm-hmm.
it down and kind of broke it up into why I felt that way.
Yes.
But I did not put anything positive, like a something that really rattled me in a positive way.
Yeah. There
So,
can be tons of inner children or teens or young adults where you have forgotten about these things and they would love to tell you about it so you can revisit that and re-experience it and glean new lessons because they saw it in a different lens that you do now.
right.
There's
Okay.
so much that we can learn from our inner children if we go in there and focus on them. But healing one inner child, that's a wild experience that takes forever because there's just so much.
Right.
Find a trauma wound that you have, see how far back you can remember, and then go just talk to that child and help her work
Okay.
through that experience and give her tools and resources that she needs at her level.
Okay.
And then when you do that, you're actually teaching yourself how to timeline jump and be able to do that with different incarnations because it's the exact same methodology. Because if you
Okay.
look at the bigger experience, they're just different facets of you in different lifetimes. Your inner children are different facets of you in different lifetimes.
Right.
That is how I taught myself how to connect to my different incarnations and other people's incarnations, is doing that with my inner children. Then it's easy.
So like expansive.
Mhm.
So like,
Notice how you are understanding what I am talking about. That is because you already know how to do it.
okay.
You're able to grasp onto that because that's the level of healer that you are.
It's like I understand it, but it's like hard to even grasp it or I don't know.
That's
It's
why
like I'm
it's not time for you to grasp the whole thing.
okay.
Higher self is like, hey, I just need you to do this exercise in your car at the grocery store. I just need you to go in and channel one planet. I just need you to go and help one inner child.
Okay.
We're just going to start there because the version of yourself that fully grasped those things is levels above in consciousness. You know who she is. You can see her, but there's a lot of layers in between you and her.
Right.
Once you start doing these action steps, you get closer and closer to her. And then
Okay.
things make sense. Like if I had told myself this at the beginning of my healing journey, all of these things, I'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about. What
Right.
are you even saying? Like I
Right.
can conceptualize that, but what? It wasn't
Yeah.
until I actually put it into practice and I'm like, oh, okay, now I'm seeing the mechanisms.
Right.
So there's only so much I can say until you practice, and then you're gonna be like, oh, okay, I get it. Yes. Okay. Do you have any other questions before we finish up?
Um just about, can you hear me?
Hmm?
Okay.
I can hear you.
Oh. Hold on one second. Um, I did, was there anything about like migraine influence
Mm,
or
yes. Oh, one more thing too. Okay, so you know how you were talking about zodiac and being interested in astrology? Okay, so the constellations of like Virgo and Aquarius and things of that nature, you can also channel the energy of Virgo or channel the energy of Aquarius or channel the energy of Taurus and those attributes. Okay.
okay.
Okay, thank you. Because you asking that question remind me. Okay, the
Mhm.
migraines are coming. And I used to have crazy bad migraines. I would have panic attacks because my migraines were so bad. I had them for so long. A lot of that is anxiety. A lot of that is you having so much energy in your body that is not being utilized in a positive, effective manner because you're stuffing so much of it down that it is manifesting because you are tightening up so much from a protective defensive mechanism. So it's
Okay.
energy that's like clamping down like this. It is becoming a physical manifestation through a migraine. It is tense. If you were able to utilize your magic in the ways that it is intended, everything would flow. Okay.
Okay.
And you would be having conversations that are beneficial and pulling in different people, like just being in a better flow of life. Migraines can also be from perfectionism, holding very high standards of yourself, and masking. That might also be where your anger is coming from as well, because
Okay.
because you are forcing yourself to live in a fractured version of you because of the safety trauma responses and the mechanisms. It's clamping down on our energy so it doesn't spew out of us and trigger other people. So we are just latching onto that inside of us. And that's a physical manifestation. And I'm not saying that's where all of your migraines are coming from. That can be seasonal allergies. It can be dealing with your kids. It can be a million different things. But
Right.
what your higher self said, it's from clamping down on your energy and not allowing it to come out of your body like it's intended to. You have too much energy in your body. You have too much magic inside of you. And when I say too much magic, I mean it's not being expressed in the ways that it needs to. So it's becoming a maladaptive mechanism in your body. It's screaming, let me out, let me out. But it's like, no, I have to hold on to you because I don't feel safe or I'm going
Okay.
to trigger somebody. When I started healing and expressing myself and not valuing other people's opinions and things above my own and utilizing my magic, no more migraines, no more panic attacks. It was the clamping down that was causing those. And I'm
Okay.
not saying that's something that's going to be fixed overnight,
Right.
but eventually you won't have to deal with that anymore.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Okay? But now that we're aware of that, okay, we need to find some outlets for our magic. One of the ways that I did that was content creation, communicating, sharing my story and my perspectives and what I think about life, giving my magic to other people.
Hmm.
It was a way to release that without it just being so clamped up in my energetic fields. Like there's some
Right.
times where I'm not really making content for other people. I'm making it because my soul wants to express that. And if other people want to watch it, great. If not, it's something for me to watch. I
Right.
healed a lot of things that I had going on in my life by creating content because I was constantly watching myself and listening to myself. And my younger
Right.
students were hearing that, and I was working on my leadership skills, and my communication skills, and my social anxiety skills. And I'm not saying that's what you need to do, but you need to find an outlet for your magic, whether that's painting or dancing. We got to get some of that out of our body. We got to enjoy our magic. What was your biggest takeaway today?
That I can connect with planets and stars and fairies and unicorns.
Those are all celestial beings.
That literally,
There's Earth versions of them, but there's also like celestials, celestial dragons, all kinds of stuff.
that just like is not what I expected you to say, but
Okay,
it completely
it makes
resonates.
sense.
Yes.
Yes.
Um, and I really was hoping for some guidance and you really gave it to me. So
Okay.
I got what I was looking for.
Make sure you thank your higher self too, because a lot of that was from her. Now, do you think, but the final parting piece here, do you think that it would serve you in your greatest capacity if I didn't show up to this session and talk about things that are intangible and didn't care whether you received it well or not? I just relay the information and I send you love and I hope it integrates. And if not, that's up to you and your higher self. But I'm gonna tell you what it is. But I'm gonna show up and I made the content to get you here.
Right.
It's not serving me to be in a disempowered state. It's not serving you.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
This is what people need from you. Okay. But you have to be okay with like, I saw what I saw. I said what I said.
Right.
Because your higher self told me. So like, right? It's not something that just came out of nowhere.
Right.
No. This, what we're doing right now, is gonna be you. Maybe you doing a little bit more Reiki than I'm doing. Okay, if that's what you want to keep doing, which is fine. We love that. But this is what you will be doing as well. You have good behavioral pattern recognition. You know what's going on in people's subconscious. You could be doing what I'm doing right now.
That would be cool.
Don't fool yourself and tell yourself otherwise.
Okay.
Okay. There's a reason you trigger people. It's because you are a healer. Okay. Okay. I'm going to send you your oracle cards, your crystal grid. I'll send you your replay. I'm going to send you some resources about the Earth Star chakra and causal chakra, soul star chakra. I have like one or two videos about the stellar gateway. I do not have any about the cosmic gateway. That
Okay.
is something that you're going to have to go in here because there's
Right.
not a lot of information about it in the collective. And that's not my specialty. So I'm sure somebody, maybe a teacher or a mentor, will come into your field or you'll find some videos on it, but I don't have any specifically to share with you. But that's something also that your higher self and these different celestial beings can help you pull through and interpret. Just like there's barely any information about the type of energy, inner child healing that I teach, but that's something that I downloaded in
Okay.
to bring to the collective, just like you will do with celestial healing. But that also means you got to go in and find that information, just like I had to go in and find the inner child information.
Okay.
Okay. But you can start with the videos that I sent you. That'll help you out a little bit to get there.
Awesome.
Okay. Thanks for sticking with me. I know we went over. I just had a lot of information I wanted to share with you.
That's okay. I really
Yes.
appreciate it. I like having homework, so
Makes it more tangible.
yes.
Okay. Yeah. Just watch all the videos I send you. If you don't like somebody, skip it. Not
Okay.
everybody's for people. Okay. There's a million other healers that you can go research as a jumping off point.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay. It was lovely meeting you. I love your energy.
Thank you.
Yes.
Right back at you.
Thanks. If you need anything in the future, just let me know. Okay.
Okay.
All
Thank you
right.
so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye.